So today's class is Feldenkrais focused, and we're looking at the whole spine, starting with the neck. So let's just do a little bit of an assessment with the neck. Just side to side, look at the range of motion, look at any stiffness or points of resistance. Okay, and then right ear to right shoulder, center, left ear to left shoulder. Try not to react in your shoulders, don't lift them up, keep the shoulders heavy and down. And then another one we could do would be dropping the chin and looking up at the ceiling, dropping the chin and looking up at the ceiling. So we're just looking at how the neck is feeling. So let's start with a vagal release, just to really bring ourselves back out of that forward head posture. So we'll do the salamander, and just another little sort of fine tuning with the salamander is to extend your neck, bring it into neutral, and then draw your chin backwards, retract your chin, which is going to bring your skull backwards and upwards, and then take your right ear to your right shoulder. So that also is going to help you to come out of forward head posture. Take your left hand underneath the chair, and now you're looking down at the right shoulder with both eyes. So there's a feeling of the chin being tucked and the left side jaw, the hinge of the jaw, just uncomfortably stretching towards the ceiling. So that's bringing your head backwards, upwards, and it's also stretching your suboccipital muscles. You're looking at the shoulder with both eyes. You're waiting for the sigh, the yawn, the swallow. As soon as you get the release, the balance, then you're looking up and away. So in this exercise, you're looking at 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock, and you're looking at 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock, depending on whether you're looking down or whether you're looking up. So where we look with our eyes accesses certain parts of the brain as well. And also we've got the stretch in the vagal nerve that's coming into the eyes. You should notice your vision becoming sharper, clearer, as that nerve gets stretched and woken up. And then to come out of it, it's a little bit uncomfortable because of the scalenes and the trapezius. Hand under the head and just gently bring your head back into center. Do some nose circles, because that's just going to help the neck relax. If it was tight, it won't like going into that position very much. So same thing again, you protract, you look forward, you crane your head forward. Then you come into neutral, and then you retract, you bring your chin into the bones of the front of the neck, and then you take your left ear to your left shoulder. Think of the hinge of the right side of the jaw stretching upwards as your chin is pulling backwards, and you're going to take your right hand under the chair, and you're going to look down at your left shoulder. So I got a really big release there straight away. So when we do this, we're regulating our nervous system. We're coming into the parasympathetic nervous state, the ventral state, which is the front of the body, and we're just coming out of fight and flight. We're coming into calm, rest, restore, and digest. So as soon as you get that release, you're looking up and away. If you think of the clock in front of you, you'll be looking at 2 o'clock. There's my second release. So really decompressing the blood vessels and the nerves going into and coming out of the brainstem as you bring the head back into its correct position. Now, a little bit of tension on the hand that's under the chair, just to get into the side of the neck. So that's a good 60 seconds. Support your head to come back into center. Do some nose circles. So a new one, just a quick trigger point release, just before we go into the rest of it. We all know about trapezius, and it has great influence in the neck. We usually look at the universal trigger point right where the shoulder meets the neck. That's a universal trigger point. If you feel with the same side hand, so I've got my left hand on the trapezius, if you come up a little bit into the neck, so about the lower quarter of your neck, you can feel there's quite deep muscle there. pin your thumb, push your thumb backwards into the muscle, and then 2 fingers behind. So you come up from the slope of the neck, just to that first quarter of the neck. You can feel that broad band of muscle going up. The thumb pushes into it, the fingers squeeze from behind, and now you're turning your head to look away. And do it 10 times. So if you've got active triggers here, you'll feel the pain in the ear, in the eyeball, and in the left side of the skull. So you get quite a definite picture in the nervous system. So you could feel earache, you could feel a dull ache in the eye, you could feel a sort of a pressure in the orbit behind the eye. So this is the pathway that trapezius influences, and it gives you a lot of pain in the neck as well. So do it about 10 times. So just constant squeeze, you're pinching, you're not letting go. It's the only trigger point release we're doing. I just thought we'd do this one today because it's a really good one for the neck. Trapezius has huge influence in the neck. So if you've got a stiff neck, it's quite often trapezius, and then looking forward and just release and just move your head, see how that side of the neck is feeling. So right hand comes to the trapezius. So the universal trigger is just at the base of the neck where the slope of the neck starts. That's our universal trigger, but you've got the thumb at the front, fingers at the back. But if you work your fingers upwards into that lower quarter of the neck, the muscle is still quite thick. You're pushing your thumb backwards, and then you're grabbing it with the fingers behind. So I call that the snake bite. And you squeeze until it becomes a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit painful, and then you're looking away from the hand that's squeezing. So these muscles are very active. Trapezius is a very active muscle group. And so this is, is a universal trigger as well. This is why most people want to have a massage here, is because these trigger points get very upset and fired up. So do it about 10 times, quite a firm squeeze. If you can feel it in the ear, if you can feel it behind the eye, then you've got active triggers there. So little and often is a good way to go with this one. So the problem with these neck triggers is we keep doing the same movements, habitual movements, that just sparks them and fires them straight up again. So they never really learn to let go completely. So it's more about management than it is about resolving. So that's about 10, and just see how your neck feels now. You could go back to your head rotations. So that definitely feels easier for me. You could look down, you could look up, and you could take right ear to right shoulder, left ear to left shoulder. So just something to add into your arsenal of trigger point work. So make two open hands and just rub your hands together, which just creates a little bit of warmth and stimulates the nerves in the hands. And then you're going to put the thumbs behind the ears and the fingers around the side of the skull and just gently squeeze. And just feel the bones of your jaw, the bones of your skull, the bones of your hands, bones of your forearms, and you can drop your elbows a little bit so your arms aren't out here. You want to be fairly relaxed. Think of your nose as the center of your circle, and just let your head fall to the right, and just start to draw a small circle with your hands so that the circle is coming from the hands, moving the bones of the skull. Really small, and just assess how the muscles in the neck feel. So if you've got a stiff neck, you might find that some of this circle is uncomfortable, a little bit painful maybe. You want to be about a 6 out of 10, or if you put a 0 on the end of that 6, 60 to 65% of your natural range of motion. So never extreme. Let the head feel heavy in the hands. Steer the circle with the bones of the hand, the bones of the forearm, even the elbows. So try and make your skull and your head go very passive and very heavy. So you do that for about 30 seconds, and then you would change the direction using the bones of your hands, not the bones of your neck or skull. So try not to use your neck muscles. Neck dominant people have got stiff necks because they use their necks over too much and over recruit neck muscles to do things that aren't even neck related. So then the neck gets incredibly unhappy. So my neck, I'm a bit stiff on the left side of my neck. My neck definitely doesn't like going in this direction quite so much. So doing it for about 30 seconds, heavy in the head, passive in the neck, and then just come to a halt and push your head back into center. Take the hands away and just assess how it feels. So you might notice there's a rush of blood in the brain and you're just feeling a little bit more alert. So we've got proprioceptors in the neck that tell the brain where the head and neck is in space, where our body is in space as well. And so they get impacted by tight neck muscles. So when you free them up, or when you relax the muscles and wake up the proprioceptors, you're going to get a lot more proprioception and information about your skull and your neck. So make your two open hands, do a little bit of a rub, friction rub. Put the thumbs behind the ears and just fold the hands around the side of the face. Let the head fall to the left, and then just find the bones. Find the bones of your jaw. Find the bones of your skull. I forgot to say on the last one, just open your mouth. Let your jaw muscles relax. These exercises are good for TMJ as well, for any sort of temporomandibular pain. And you're going to just find the bones of your hands, the bones of your forearms, the bones of your elbows. And with a very heavy head, you're starting to draw a small circle using your nose to gauge the circle. And the circle is being drawn with the bones of the hand. Now I'm teaching the video, so I'm trying to keep my eyes open, but I'm all the time wanting to close my eyes because you're trying to use interoception. You're trying to go inside your body and look at the bones of your skull, look at the bones of your face, look at the bones of the jaw, the bones of the hand, to create this circle. So the more you can use interoception, the more you're going to really wake up those proprioceptors in the neck. And then just changing direction using the hands. Make sure the movement's coming from the hands and you're not using your neck muscle. So for neck people, that's a really hard thing to do. So try to make the head heavy, open the jaw, relax. You're doing it for about 30 seconds, and if you use your interoception, you can feel how the vertebrae in your neck are articulating and moving around. And then just push your head back into center, take the hands away, and again, just assess. So I feel very awake in my brain, and I've got a little bit more range of motion. Still got stiffness, but it's because I'm going further. So I'm moving into a deeper range now, and that's firing up these unhappy triggers in my left side neck. So let's just do that one more time. Rub the hands together. Cup the face. Let the head fall to the right. Find the bones of the skull, the bones of the jaw. Open the mouth. Bones of the fingers, the forearms, the elbows. Maybe close your eyes if you don't feel wobbly and unbalanced. If you feel a little bit dizzy with the eyes closed, then you might need to open your eyes again. Just draw the circle with the nose, making the circle with the hands. So maybe now this circle is a little bit bigger because you've relaxed the neck and you're thinking moving at 60 to 65% of your natural range of motion. So a bigger circle, and you'll start to notice the movement in the bones of your neck. Open the jaw if you've got any sort of jaw pain, TMJ issues, then this is going to help relax the jaw. Now go the other way. So I'm starting to notice now, as I'm doing a bigger circle, that it's not just the left side of my neck, but it's also the back of my neck from the left side. So my capitis muscles at the back. So just Feldenkrais, gentle, it's repetitive, and it's talking to the nervous system. Just look at these muscles, let go. The more relaxed you are, the more likely the brain is to make some really big changes. Just push back into center. If you're using too much neck muscles, too much effort, then you're just doing what you always do. So then the brain is not going to do anything different. Just move the neck, reassess. So Feldenkrais likes to assess in between each exercise. So rub the hands together. Thumbs at the back, fingers around the side of the skull. Let the head fall to the left. Let the head be heavy in the hands. Find the bones of your skull, the bones of your jaw. Open your mouth. Find the bones of your hands and your forearms and your elbows. With your hands, draw the circle. So immediately I feel now I can make a bigger circle because the neck has relaxed. So think about what would be 60 to 65% of your natural range. And really listen to the feedback. You know, are you finding muscles that feel a little bit unhappy? So I can locate about 4 different muscle groups that are unhappy and tight on this left side. And change direction. Steer the circle with the hands, let the head go passive, the neck become passive. If you get where it's getting a little bit too painful, make the circle smaller. Find what you can do at 60% range. So you could easily do this one exercise 3 times, 2 or 3 times, and then just gently push your head back into center and reassess. So I could feel side of neck muscles, trapezius muscles, suboccipital muscles, capitis muscles in that exercise. So suboccipital muscles, we've got muscles under the rim of the skull that form a triangle. So a good release for that is 2 fingers on the chin, and then just drop the chin towards the bones of the neck and just press with the 2 fingers until you feel a little bit of a stretch at the back of the neck. And then release. And do that 2 more times. No talking, so I'm not going to talk now because that interferes with this. So push down until you feel a stretch. And release. 1 more, pushing down. And release. So the suboccipital triangle is the group of muscles that pulls your head forward and then into rotation if you're in a forward head posture, sort of habitual pattern. So when you do that, you're stretching those muscles so the head can come back and align more with the shoulders. You want the ears lining up with the center of the shoulders. So the Ferris wheel, rub the hands together, cup the face, find the bones of the skull, the bones of the jaw, open the jaw, relax the jaw, feel the bones of the hands, feel the forearms and the elbows. So in the Ferris wheel, you're holding the head and you're drawing a circle with your elbows. Head is heavy in the hands. You're not using your neck. Now you should start to feel that there's movement now in the space between the shoulder blades and the upper thoracic spine. So between the neck and the shoulder blades, the vertebrae are being moved around. Let the head just fall into the hands. Leave the mouth open. Eyes open, you get more feedback. Eyes closed, you get more interoception. So if you're trying to look at the inside of the body, you close the eyes. Can you visualize the spine behind the heart? You're trying to get some movement there. I've got a little bit of clicking going on. Maybe the Ferris wheel could get a little bit bigger as long as it's coming from the elbows and you're not feeling your neck firing up. So at a certain point, I could feel my lower neck muscles trying to jump in. So I'm going smaller again. Change direction. And really look at how far down your rib cage you can feel movement. So for me, I can definitely feel to sort of the bra line, to the bottom of the rib cage, the bottom of the shoulder blades. It's a really lovely movement for my ribs. So the ribs attach into the spine here, and they're all getting a nice stretch as well. Even in the front of the rib cage in the breastbone, there's quite a little bit of movement. Come back into center. And again, just assess. So a lot going on in the brain, a lot of feedback coming from those proprioceptors to the brain. And the brain is really taking notice. A little bit more comfortable. And now I've located another muscle that's tight, and that's just under the collarbone and upper chest muscle. So these Feldenkrais moves are really good for finding the active triggers as well. So you could just do 2 fingers, you could do a little bit of a friction rub. So we're not going to focus on that today because it's not a trigger point class, but just cross your fingers like lucky fingers under the collarbone and just into that little triangle, which is up into the shoulder. You can feel this deep muscle there. You can do them both at the same time. You could do it with your knuckles as well. Just to create a little bit of heat, you can do your breastbone. Just to wake up those proprioceptors in the body. So let's come into now one of my favorites, actually, oh, not this one, the next one. This one is just hyperextension and flexion. You're going to rub your hands together. I jumped ahead, but this one's a good one as well. You're going to cup the face, let the bones of your head hang down into the hands. Feel like the hands are really supporting the skull, the jaw. Open the mouth. Feel the bones of your hands, the bones of your forearms, the bones of your elbows. I'll turn sideways for this one. So Feldenkrais is focusing on the skeleton. And with that heavy head, you're going to let the elbows drop down towards your pelvis. Just find a stretch in your spine. So now I feel the stretch right the way down to the bottom of my ribs. And then using the bones of your hands, forearms and elbows, you're pushing your head upwards. Maybe eyes open for this one, and you're looking at the ceiling. You're stretching those eyes. So again, heavy head in the hands. So feel the head is heavy on the down, elbows towards your pelvis. So that's a flex spine. And then push the head up with the hands. And you're looking up at the ceiling. And coming into extension, and you should feel it between your shoulder blades. So heavy head on the down. And then push the head with the hands, the bones of the hands, the forearms, the elbows. Eyes are open. You're looking up at the ceiling. You find the stretch, a comfortable stretch in the rib cage, so 60 to 65%. That's about a 6 out of 10. And again, you're pushing, you're looking up. Maybe you're adding an in-breath as you look up. So you use your diaphragm to stabilize your spine. You breathe out as your head is heavy and it drops down. One more, breathing in to push the skull up. And now I'm even starting to feel my lumbar spine. Inhale, exhale, head heavy, and coming all the way down to the pelvis. And then push your head back into the central position to look at the horizon. So that just brings your head back into what we're normally doing. When we're walking, we should be looking at the horizon and looking at the periphery. We should not be looking at the floor. Once we start to do that, we're going to get into trouble with the neck and the proprioceptors in the neck, and then we're going to have more accidents, not less. So it's a little bit difficult on Waiheke because it's not a safe place to walk, but as much as you can, you should be looking at the periphery and at the horizon. So the typewriter, this is my favorite exercise. You're going to open the hand, put the right hand on the forehead. And then you're going to think about the bones of your skull, the bones of your hands, the bones of your forearm, the bones of the elbow, and with your left hand, you're going to just support the right elbow. And then eyes open for this one, you're going to just gently push the elbow up, and you're going to look up into your hand, so that's a vagal release, and just feel the stretch. You'll feel it at the bottom part of your rib cage. And then heavy head in the hand, and feel like you're lowering the head towards the floor. Do that 2 more times. With the left hand, you're pushing the elbow, the forearm, the hand, the skull upwards, heavy in the head, passive in the neck. Look up into the hand, and then really heavy head as you slowly lower the elbow with the left hand. And go all the way down towards the pelvis, so you're really stretching your spine. 1 more. Left hand pushes the right elbow, the right forearm, the hand, the skull, upwards, and you're looking up into the hand. Feel the stretch between the shoulder blades, the lower rib cage, heavy head as you slowly lower the head using the left hand. All the way to the pelvis. Feel that stretch, and then push your elbow into the middle position where you're looking at the horizon again, and take the hand away and just move the head. Left hand on the forehead. Right hand holds the right elbow. So find the bones of the skull, the bones of the hand, the bones of the forearm, the left elbow, and with your right hand, drop the head into the hand, and you're lowering the elbow towards your pelvis. And just see how the stretch feels now. And then right hand pushes the left elbow, the left forearm, the left hand, the skull, up towards the ceiling, and you're looking into the hand. And then heavy head, and the right hand is lowering the head, feeling the connection through the bones, all the way to the pelvis. And then you're pressing with the right hand, pushing the arm, the hand, the head upwards to a comfortable place, and you're looking into the hand and assess how it feels. Where are you feeling the stretch? Heavy in the head, lowering the head, so I can really feel my rib cage on this side. So we do have right side or left side dominance. Push the elbow up. We've all got a certain bias. And there's a bias in the brain as well. And so we do feel the difference between our right body and our left body. Heavy in the head as you come down, all the way down to the pelvis. So the thoracic spine, the cervical spine, the thoracic spine, the lumbar spine, all getting a beautiful stretch, and push back into center, look at the horizon, and take the hand away. And just, I feel very awake through here now. So come back to your right hand on the forehead, left hand holding the elbow. You're looking at the horizon, and I want you to just very gently push your right elbow, head heavy in the hand, right elbow, push it to the right with your left hand, and just feel how that stretches your thoracic vertebra. Go to 60% range. Now, left hand pulls the elbow, the right elbow through center. Heavy head in the hand, maybe the mouth is open. Now pull over to the left. So for me, that feels a bit more like rib stretching. Push back into center. Push your elbow up 2 centimeters. Head heavy in the hand. Push the elbow, the right elbow over to the right. So for me, that feels like a stretch in the thoracic spine. Go to 60% range. Pull the elbow back through center. So the left hand is the driver. Pull across to the left side, and for me that's definitely where the ribs come into the spine. Push back into center. Push up 2 more centimeters. So the higher you go, the higher up the rib cage you're working. So very passive in the head and the neck. Left hand pushes to the right. It's probably going to get a little bit harder as you go higher. So make sure you're only at 60%. So that's definitely a little bit stiffer. Pull back through center. Left hand is doing the work. Pull across to the left. A little bit easier in the ribs here though. Push back to center. So in the heart area, we're quite stiff usually. So one more time, 2 centimeters up, heavy head in the hand, left hand drives the right elbow to the right. A little bit of stiffness, so just go to 60% range, come back to center, pull over to the left, come back to center, and then just come back down into the middle position and take the hand away. If you had more time, you would go up and you would come down through each of those vertebrae, but I want to do the legs as well today. So left hand on the forehead. Find the bones of the skull, the hand, the forearm, the elbow. The right hand is the driver. So everything on the left is passive and the head is heavy in the hand. So look at the horizon. So we start level. So that's going to place us sort of mid-thoracic, and we're going to push with the right hand over to the left. Go gentle. Find your 60% range. And then pull the elbow back to center. I forgot to say on the other side, try breathing in as you rotate. Pull the left elbow over to the right. So I'm very stiff here. And breathe out as you push back to center. Come up 2 centimeters. So right hand pushes left elbow, breathe in. So using the diaphragm will make you feel a little bit more stable, might give you a little bit more room. Pull the elbow back to center, head heavy in the hand. Make sure you're not doing this with your neck. Pull across to the right, breathe in. Push to center. So I'm fine here. It's just the vertebra below I can feel was pretty stiff. So push up. So you might find a stiff place in your spine. Heavy head in the hand. Breathe in and push to the left. Breathe out, pull to center. So I can definitely feel that this is a little bit easier on this side. Breathing in, pull to the right. Breathe out, push to the center. So once you figure out where you're tight, you would do it slowly. You'd explore that a little bit more. Last time, 2 centimeters up, head heavy in the hand. Breathe in as you push your left elbow to the left. Breathe out, pull to center. Breathe in, pull to the right. Breathing out into center. Come back down to where you're looking at the horizon, take the hand away. So I could definitely feel that I had one vertebra about here that was a little bit stiff. And if you'd figured out something like that, you would just very slowly just sort of play around with this. Don't overdo it. Don't do too many. You don't want to over adjust. Be careful if you've got any whiplash or anything like that. It is quite a strong manipulation. So that's the, we'll just finish with a little bit of rotation. Keep an eye on the time. So grow really tall and you're just rotating to the right. So this should feel a little bit easier now because we've just worked our thoracic spine. Moving to the right. Choose how you breathe. If you breathe out, you won't go so far. Breathe into center. Or if you breathe in, you will go further, but you might not like going further. So just play around with the breath and figure out what feels right for you. Make sure you're not driving this movement with the neck. Keep the nose central between the elbows. So I'm feeling really nice and relaxed. Breathe out to center. So I'm using my in-breath. Exhale. Lovely. Side bend. Lateral flexion for the spine. Right hand under the chair, left hand into a mermaid. So it's really nice for the spine to bend sideways. And when you do that, it's not just the bones that are stretching, you're getting into a whole load of side body muscles. Psoas, obliques, quadratus lumborum, there's a whole load, the erector spinae, they're all getting a lovely, lovely stretch. So it's just a great movement. And you always feel better if you do it. Drop the sit bone on the same side. See if you can get a little bit more of oppositional energy in the stretch. So the sit bone drops down, the arm curves over. So now try the other side. Start really gentle. So we've often, because we've got a right body and a left body, you'll notice that one side might be a little bit tighter. You can breathe into the stretching side of the rib cage to create expansion, and the in-breath is bringing in your diaphragm, which is going to help to stabilize the spine. When you're sure that you figured out your 60% range, drop the sit bone on the same side into the chair. Breathe in. And again, last one. So we've already done the cervical spine, the thoracic spine, and the lumbar spine. So now we're going to do the lumbar spine and the pelvic spine. So we'll come off the chair. Last week we used a roller, and I just felt a little bit wobbly using the roller. So I thought I'll go back to what my notes originally said, which was a rolled up towel. So a rolled up towel is going to give you a little bit of instability, but it's not going to make it so difficult that you can't do it properly. So the towel, a bath towel, is about the size of your spine and your head. So lie on the towel. You don't need the pillow for this one. You want your head and your tailbone on the towel. So you're aware immediately that you're on something that's a little bit strange. I'm going to move down a bit. I want my head on the pillow, on the towel. And your tailbone is sort of at the end of the towel. The top of your skull is at the top of the towel. And we're just going to roll our body side to side. So you're aware that it feels a little bit unstable. It's not as easy as the floor. It's also giving your spine a nice massage. So again, we're working on the proprioceptors in the spine, in the multifidi, in the little muscles of the spine. So I'm just getting my hair out of the way, it's stopping me from rolling. So put the hands on the pelvis and just float your right knee, come back down, float your left knee. Now at the moment, I'm using my elbows to really help find my balance. So just do a few of those just to wake the brain up to the fact that we're on something unstable. So now have your feet at hip space, opposite hand. So hand to opposite knee, maybe that's a better way to say it. So we're going across the body. That makes it a little bit easier to balance. And now we've got the elbows off the floor, at least one of the elbows off the floor. So it's getting a bit more challenging. Have your feet at hip space, that makes it a bit easier. So it's a nice abdominal work, very gentle, but you are working your powerhouse. So now lift your left knee and your right hand, and I want you to bang your left knee 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, using the heel of the hand, the heel of the thumb. And then lift your right knee, and with the fleshy part at the base of the thumb, 5 taps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come back down. Repeat that again to the right hand, left knee. So what this one does is it sends a percussive wave of energy down the femur, into the hip, into the SI joint. So again, left hand to right knee, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last week we were on the roller. It was a little bit hard to balance and do a good job of the tap. You could make a fist, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're just figuring out how much vibration you're comfortable with, sending it down the leg bone into the SI joint. So 5 for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep an eye on the time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I can, the more I do this, the more my brain is picking up the SI joint. I can feel now the vibration in the sacroiliac joint. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the sacroiliac joint is really S1. It's around sacral 1. So it's where lumbar vertebra 5 comes into sacral vertebra 1, and that's where, right at the back of the pelvis, that's our sacroiliac joint. So now we're going to do it differently. We're going to float our left hand up, and we're going to bring our right knee, and we're going to use our knee to bang into the hand and resist with the hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and put the foot down, feet hip space. Right hand, left knee into the hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The legs are stronger than the hand, so it's a bigger force. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Feldenkrais, we're moving the bones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I can feel my SI joints. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So quite often you get impingement and trapping in the joint, and that's what causes the muscles to go into spasm, fires up pain. So if you can just relax the joint by doing this, you might be able to just relax the impingement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and release the pain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's a fair bit of abdominal work going on here. Last time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the towel is definitely better than the roller. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can focus more on the feedback. Have the feet together and the knees together, hands either side. Can you feel your SI joints? Can you find them? If you close your eyes, can you feel their presence? I can feel both of mine now. So hands at the pelvis, elbows on the floor, right knee falls out. So that's articulating the sacroiliac joint, and then really strong abs. You're pulling in at the hips. Imagine you could pull your hip bones closer together as you draw the knees up. So left knee falls out. And then imagine you could pull the hip bones, the ASIS at the front of the pelvis. You could pull them inwards, and you'll be using the low transversus abdominis. So right knee falls out. Keep the pelvis level. Tighten that imaginary seat belt around the hips. Feel those low abs. Left knee falls out. Tighten the seat belt. So as you let the knee fall out, that half of your pelvis is moving backwards and the joint is being articulated, and then strong abs to bring that heavy leg back in. And one more, left knee falls out, articulating the left SI joint, and then strong abs draws the knees back in. So if you're comfortable with that, try opening both knees. So now both joints are opening, and then strong abs to draw the knees, the thighs together. So you're opening out. So really good lower abdominal exercise. You're working below the belly button, strong abs, draw the knees together. So transversus abdominis runs from the breastbone to the pubic bone, but we're working the lower band. So that run between, fill up the gap between the pelvis in below the belly button in the front. And you should be able to feel them by now, opening. You could also pull up through the pelvic floor, tighten the seat belt, feel like you're pulling your belly button towards the back of the rib cage, the low ribs at the back. So you're opening, so some really good deep abdominal work. So drawing the knees together, the thighs, pull up through the pelvic floor, imprint the belly button, tighten that seat belt. So opening, so this is your really deep abdominals, not just your six-pack muscles in the front. This is really good abdominal work. Last time, and as you use these abdominal muscles, use the pelvic floor, you'll be using the multifidi on the inside of the spine as well. And relax. Just drop your belly button into the towel. So you should feel your low back muscles got a bit tired there as well. Just lift one knee and put the foot down, lift the other knee. Feet hip space, just do some pelvic tucks and just make sure if there is tightness in the low back that you're relaxing it. So we'll just take ourselves off the towel now, get rid of the towel. This is where you might want to bring in a pillow for your neck if you feel that you need a pillow. And we're going to just have the feet together, excuse me, and we're going to just let the right knee fall out to the side. Keep the pelvis level and steady. Slide your leg down on the little toe. Turn the kneecap to the ceiling, turn the kneecap inwards and bring the knee in towards the other knee. Let's just take our feet to hip space. I'm a little bit too close together. So the knee touches, right knee touches left knee. Slide down on the big toe. Turn the knee outwards. Slide up on the little toe. Keep your pelvis steady. Bring the knee to the ceiling. So the knee falls out. You slide down on the little toe. Knee to ceiling. Knee turns inwards and comes up towards the left knee. So you're really moving your femur around in the hip. Slide down on the big toe. Turn the knee outwards and slide up on the little toe. Bring the knee to the ceiling. One more, we'll do it 4 times. Knee falls out, pelvis is level. Slide down on the little toe. Turn the knee to the ceiling. Turn the knee inwards. Bring the knee up to touch the left knee. Slide down on the big toe. Turn the knee outwards. And bring the knee up to the ceiling and put the foot down. Do some pelvic tuck so you can feel that you've articulated that half of your pelvis. You've articulated your hip as well. So then let's do the other side. So we're going to let the left knee fall out. Slide down on the little toe. Keep the pelvis level. Turn the knee to the ceiling. Turn the knee inwards and touch the inside of the right knee. Slide down on the big toe. Turn the knee outwards and slide up on the little toe, keeping your pelvis really still. Slide down on the little toe. Knee turns to ceiling, knee turns inwards and comes up to touch the inside of the right knee. Slide the leg down on the big toe, turn the knee outwards, slide up on the little toe. Pelvis doesn't move. Knee falls out, slide down on the little toe. Knee to ceiling, knee turns inwards to touch the right knee. Slide down on the big toe. Roll the knee outwards and slide up on the little toe. One more, the knee falls out, you slide down on the little toe. Knee to ceiling, knee turns in and you touch the inside of the right knee. Slide down on the big toe. Roll the knee outwards and slide up on the little toe and bring the knee back up to the ceiling. Pelvic tuck, so you can feel the glutes got a really good workout there, the abs got a good workout, and you really opened up the hips and the SI joints. Just bring the knees in one at a time and just pull the shins into the chest, bring the head into the knees, check in with the spine. How's the spine feeling? Slowly take the head down, take the feet down, one at a time. So take the left leg out and we're going to just take our left hand to right shoulder. So left leg out, left hand on right shoulder. So I want you to start by turning your head to the left and then just lifting that right shoulder a little bit. And then drop the shoulder and turn the head back towards the ceiling. So again, you're looking to the left, starting with the cervical spine, and then the shoulder lifts, even a bit of the shoulder blade maybe. And then the head comes back, the shoulder comes back, the ribs come back. So do that again. Look to the left. Lift the right shoulder, the right rib cage. Maybe you could start to feel it in the waist a bit. Let the head come back towards the ceiling. You're coming down through the shoulder, through the ribs, through the waist. So this time you're going to look to the left, lift the right shoulder, and now you're going to lift the waist and see if you can lift the right hip by pushing into the foot a little bit more. See if you could come down now through the back of the right side of the pelvis, through the waist, through the rib cage, through the shoulders, the shoulder blade, the shoulder, and the neck and the head come back. So start with the head, looking to the left. Lift the right shoulder, the right rib cage, the right waist. Push into the right foot and get the right side of your pelvis off the floor. And then see if you can come down through the right side of your pelvis really slowly, through the back of the waist on the right, through the rib cage, through the shoulder blade, through the shoulder, then the neck, and then the head. So this is about working your nervous system and integrating your neural responses. Looking to the left, lift the right shoulder with the hand, right rib cage, waist, push into the right foot, lift the pelvis, and then this is your last one. You're coming down slowly through the pelvis. So left side of pelvis rolls over to right side of pelvis, through the back of the waist, through the rib cage, through the shoulder blade, through the shoulder, through the neck and the head. So the brain is really integrating that whole side. Change the legs over, right leg straight. You're going to take your right hand to your left shoulder. So right leg straight, right hand to left shoulder. So start by looking to the right and then just gently pulling on that left shoulder and just slightly lifting. Don't go too crazy. And then you're coming down through the shoulder blade, the shoulder, the neck and the vertebra in the neck come back and the skull comes back to look at the ceiling. Look to the right. Feel the neck reacting. Lift the left shoulder. Feel the left shoulder blade lifting slightly. Maybe the ribs come down from the rib cage, from the shoulder blade, from the shoulder, come through the cervical vertebra and look at the ceiling. So again, turn to the right. Lift the left shoulder blade, left rib cage, left waist. So you might be pushing into the foot a little bit more. And then you're coming back through the rib cage, through the shoulder blade, through the shoulder, through the neck, through the head. So you're looking to the right. You're lifting the left shoulder. You're lifting the left rib cage. And now you're pushing into the left foot to lift the left side of your pelvis. And now you're rolling from the right side of your pelvis towards the left side of your pelvis. As the left pelvis comes down, the waist is coming down, the lower ribs, the middle ribs, the shoulder blade, the left shoulder, the neck comes back, the head comes back. 2 more times. Look to the right. Lift the left shoulder, the rib cage, the waist, push into the left foot, lift the pelvis, roll from the right side of the pelvis across to the left side. Come back down through the pelvis, through the waist, through the low ribs, the middle ribs, the shoulder blade, the shoulder, and the neck and the head. So last time, looking to the right, lift the left shoulder blade, the ribs, the waist, push into the left foot, and then you're rolling from the right side of your pelvis across through to the left side. Nice and slow, make the last one the best one. Through the waist, through the rib cage, through the shoulder blade, the shoulder, the neck, and the head. And then when you're back down, just bring both feet back in, bring the knees in, bring the head into the knees, give yourself a little bit of a stretch, let the brain just integrate what just happened. And then head down, take the feet down one at a time, knees together, roll over onto your front, get rid of the pillow. This one is quite hard. You're going to put your hands under your forehead and the floor is holding your pelvis steady, and you're going to take I'm going to take my left leg to the side, just as far as I comfortably can, and then I'm sliding the leg down. So it's really going to work your pelvis, your lumbar spine, your hip, your SI joints. So work at 60% range. I'm getting the hint of a cramp here because I went a little bit too far. So just slow repetition. You could turn your head towards the knee that's lifting and then turn the leg down and look down. So slide the knee, turn the head, Take 60% range so that you don't irritate the spine. And again, so I'm finding now that the cramp is disappearing, and I'm finding I can go a little bit higher with my knee. It's also going to be stretching your quads and your hip flexors, which might be very tight, and pulling you out of neutral spine. So this is a good exercise to do, but just very slowly, using repetition, no striving, no effort, just do it nice and slow so the brain knows that you're not doing anything threatening. But this is about 9, we're doing 10, but if you did it yourself at home, you might do more. You might do it for a full minute. And then you'd really start to notice some difference. So now my cramp has gone and my back feels better. So start now with the right leg coming to the side. Go gentle until you're sure how it feels. Easier for me on this side. And you're turning your head towards the right knee, and then you're turning your head down. So the whole spine is integrated in this movement. But I can feel my SI joints when I do it to the right. So ease up if you feel any sort of negative reaction. 60% range is safe. Do it slower. About 6, do 4 more. Definitely got a tighter hip on this side. So when you do these things slowly and gently, you really start to figure things out, which is all very valuable information. Last one. So that's like a reverse frog, which we just did on the other side, but definitely more difficult if we're tight in the front of the body. Just push back into child pose and press your palms into the floor. Take a breath. And then roll up through the spine. So we're coming into a seated mermaid, but we'll do it in the diamond. The diamond version is a little bit safer, a little bit more comfortable if you've got a tight back. Match up your toes if you can get your toes together. If you can't get your toes together, it means you're very tight through these muscles here. And you're just going to come up and over. So doing what we did before, you're breathing into the stretching side of the rib cage. You're dropping the sit bone on the same side as the arm that's in the air. And now we've worked the whole spine, we could maybe try going a little bit further. We could drop the sit bone, come up and over, and spiral to look behind. So just bringing in a little bit of rotation into the spine. So maybe you're using your abs a little bit, up and over, drop the sit bone and spiral to look behind. Keep the chin slightly tucked, slightly retracted, up and over, drop the sit bone, spiral to look behind. So we're bringing all the movements that we've done today into one. Up and over, challenging the cervical spine, the thoracic spine, the lumbar spine, the pelvic spine. Last time it was quite nice. It's coming to hands behind the knees, a sort of a cat stretch. We're rounding. And then we're pushing our heart forward, looking up. We're rounding. Flexion into extension, flexion into extension, and then bring the knees together and just see, how does your neck feel? Try the different ranges and just see if you've got a little bit more range and if the neck feels a little bit happier.